So, hello there. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining me on your mat tonight. It feels really good to be on my mat tonight. I've been away for several days, so it's kind of nice. I wanted to play a little bit tonight and move through some variations of one of my favorite poses, the tree pose. So we're going to take that shape, that Prakshasana shape, a few times tonight. But I also wanted to share this a part of a reading from the Daily Om by Madison Taylor. So it's talking about trees and people and kind of comparing and contrasting the ways that they're alike and different. But I wanted to share the paragraph, this paragraph in particular. So she says, "We also share creative ways of growing. Regardless of the challenges we come up against in our environments, trees will even grow through rock, shattering it in their effort to reach the air and the light they need to survive. We are similarly resilient, with a built-in propensity for growth and the conditions that promote it. We find creative ways around the obstacles we confront as we move along our paths, moving toward the light that feeds us, just as trees grow around other trees and rocks as they make their way upward in the world." So I liked that because of everything that's going on, and we're finding time to grow, but maybe grow in a different way in our own home, in our own time. So I like that imagery, and I thought it was fitting for our tree practice tonight. So for tonight, just make sure that you have a blanket of some kind. It doesn't matter really what it looks like. And we're not going to use that till a little bit later. And we are going to start on our backs tonight. So come onto your back. We'll take the first few moments of our class as usual to connect with our breath. So whatever reclined position is working for you tonight. Legs extended, knees bent, maybe Supta Baddha Konasana. Allow your eyes to close, feel your face soften. With every exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit more into the earth, just getting heavy. Feeling that sensation of letting go, allowing, just opening up to whatever comes up right now. So wherever your thoughts go, whatever your breath is doing, wherever your focus lies, just allow that to be. Just sit with it. Just practicing that, allowing that being okay. And so as we work on growing and becoming more, we kind of first need to know where we're starting, where we are right now. And so this is the time for that. So start to bring a little more awareness to the breath. So start to deepen the breath, lengthen the breath, full inhales, full exhales. As you continue to deepen and lengthen the breath, start to bring the attention, the awareness to that breath and to this moment. So starting to shift away from just allowing all the noticing to just really being present with the breath. So in your mind's eye, really focusing, following the breath in, following the breath out. So when you feel ready, just start to bend the knees and kind of walk the feet in. Let the hands rest at your sides. Let's just keep that left foot planted, that left knee bent. Just lightly cross the right ankle over your left thigh. So flex the foot and spread the toes. Take your right hand to your right thigh and just sort of gently push it away. And then release that right hand at your side and just tippy toe your left foot a little closer to your sit bones. And then maybe float that left foot off the mat. With any amount of effort, just start to pull that right leg in. Or maybe it's more of a push with the left leg to the right ankle. So not a lot of effort right now, just a little effort. Just starting to stretch into the right hip. If you really want it and you want to go deeper, you can interlace your hands behind your left thigh and just gently, gently draw the legs in. That might feel like a lot this early, so, just feel out how it is for you. If that's too much, let go of that little bind and just come back to floating your left foot. And then we're going to kick that left leg out long on the mat. Touch the back of the heel to the mat. We're going to keep that right knee bent, but now we're going to place the right foot on the inside of our left calf and let the right knee fall open. So basically a reclined tree pose here. So start by engaging that left leg, flexing the foot, spreading the toes out. Let your arms go wider and turn your palms up. So one shoulder blade at a time, tuck your shoulder blades under, right behind the back of your heart. Maybe lift the chest a little bit more. Hug the navel in towards the spine, just finding a little engagement in the core, and give a little press of that right foot into the left leg. Maybe a little resistance with the left leg. So let it be a little effortful. With your next breath in, just kind of drag the arms along the floor, reaching your arms behind you. Let your thumbs touch the carpet or the floor or the mat, wherever they're touching, but lift and spread through the fingers. So the arms are active, that left leg is active, the right leg is active, and the core is active. So if you've maybe lost a little of that, maybe come back. Breathe here. And maybe if you've allowed your eyes to open, go ahead and close them for the next breath or two. And just in your mind's eye, picture yourself standing. Picture that left foot grounded into the ground, into the earth, toes spread. Now as you exhale, bring both knees in and wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a little hug in. If it feels okay, float your head off the mat. And then exhale, release. With knees bent, plant your feet on the mat. Let your hands rest at your sides, and then we'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh. So again, just very little effort here to start with. Flex the foot a little bit and spread out the toes a little bit. Take your left hand to the thigh and just give it a little push, gentle push away. And release that left hand. And just tippy toe that right foot in a little bit. And then maybe float that right foot off the ground. Use this right leg to sort of push the left leg in, just a little bit, not a lot. And if this is where you want to stop and stay, go ahead. If you really want to go deeper and you feel like that would feel great, interlace your hands behind your right thigh and just create a little more effort, a little more stretch. And then we release that bind, hands at your sides, right leg kicks out long, heel to the mat. Left foot to the inner right calf. Arms wide, but at your sides still. And then one shoulder blade at a time, tuck those shoulder blades under, lift your heart. Flex your right ankle, spread your toes. Left foot gently presses into the right leg. A little resistance there, a little effort there, and then the navel draws down to the spine. Just creating that stability. And then with your inhale, drag the arms up. Let just your thumbs touch the floor behind you, spread out through the fingertips. Keep lifting a little bit through the heart, but drawing down through the navel. Again, close your eyes. In your mind's eye, picture yourself standing strong on that right leg. Full breath in. Exhale, release. Hug both knees in. Wrap the arms, maybe lift the head. And then go ahead and release the head back to the mat with the knees still hugged in. Just roll onto one side. Press yourself up. Find your way to hands and knees. So from hands and knees, just check in that knees line up under hips, wrists line up under shoulders. Toes are curled under, a little bit more activity here. So we're hugging the thighs in, pulling the navel up and in. We're going to kick the left leg out behind us, curling the toes under and pressing back through that left heel. Just get a little stretch through that leg. Really ground down through both hands, spread the fingers, draw that navel up. Press the shoulders a little bit away from the ears. We'll keep that left foot tacky to the mat, but we're going to pull the right knee up a little bit. So just float that right knee off the mat to start. Take a breath in. Breath out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Release that right knee. Float that left leg. Float your right arm. Creating some stability here. Hug the right upper arm down and in. Hug the left thigh up and in. So keep all that, but send the left leg out a little bit and send the right arm out a little bit. Turn your palm down. Turn your toes down a little bit. Pull to the midline. Come back to center. Extended arm, extended leg. Release your right hand, release your left toes. Keeping that leg extended. So one more time. We're going to kick that back heel back and get it nice and extended. Pull the belly up and in. We're going to float the right knee. This time we're going to put the right foot on the left calf and try to kick that right knee up a little bit. Hold here. Roll forward on your toes and lower all the way to your belly. Lengthen out through the backs of your toes. Press down into your hands. Hug the elbows into your ribs. Inhale, float the back of your head and the back of your heart for a little cobra, just a little one. Exhale, release. Extend that right leg long behind you. Go ahead and find your way back to child's pose. Couple breaths here in child's pose. Your next inhale, find your way back to hands and knees. Ground down through those hands, find your alignment, draw the little belly up and in. And we're going to extend that right leg straight back. Curl the toes under. Strong, strong extended leg. And then we're going to push into the hands, pull the belly up and in, float the left knee. Hold here for full breath in, full breath out. Go ahead, release the knee. Float that right leg up. Float the left arm up. So be okay with the wobbling, feeling a little unbalanced, a little unsure. Trying to draw into the midline for that little sense of security and stability. And then we'll get a little less secure, kicking that right leg out, left arm out. Again, turn the palm down and the toes down. Try to stay lifted through those big bones, though. So the upper arm and the right thigh. Back to the midline. Inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. Right toes come down, but keep that leg extended. again, we're going to pull the left knee up. This time we're going to plant the left foot on the right calf. Kick the knee up. Roll forward on the toes and lower down. Lengthen out those right toes. Press down into the hands. Little cobra. Cobra with our tree legs. Exhale, release. Long leg, left leg kicks back. Go ahead and press through your hands and knees and then back to child's pose for a couple more breaths. With your inhale, shift your weight. With your exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here and pedal out the feet. Shake the hips out a little bit, maybe shake the head out. So take your next few breaths and make your way to the middle of your mat. So maybe step in a few times, walk your hands back a few times, just kind of meeting in the middle of your mat. Finding a forward fold right there. Completely letting go, letting the head hang heavy. Reconnecting with that nice slow, full breath pattern. When you feel ready, draw your hands to your hips. Rise to stand. So with your feet right on your mat, with your hands on your hips, find a spot in front of you that you can kind of look softly at. Ideally, it's something that's not moving, so not a shadow, not an image on a screen, not a person, just maybe a fixed point on the wall or the ground in front of you. So soften your eyes, soften your gaze. Take 1 or 2 full breaths in with both feet on the earth. Just sort of letting your eyes soften, maybe even unfocus a little bit. We'll let the left foot start to take a little more weight, and then we'll just roll off the right heel. So just the right tippy toes are touching the mat, hands on hips, eyes are soft. Feel that navel pull back towards your spine. We're just going to kick that right foot up a little bit with that knee bent. Just completely lifting it off the earth, even if it's just for a moment and you need to come back down to touching and then come back into it. Again, maybe the eyes start to unfocus a little bit, but the inner gaze, the drishti, is steady. Right? So where we're looking inward, we're steady. Extend both arms out. Again, at any moment, maybe those right toes need to touch down for a moment. Maybe they're still extended and lifted. See if you can find a little grace here, even grace within the movement. A little wobbling. And release that right foot down. Reach the fingertips to the earth, so like you're reaching your fingertips down to the mat, rolling your shoulders open, tilt your head back, close your eyes, big breath in. Bend your knees a lot, and as you exhale, just fold down over your thighs. Let your hands graze the earth if that's okay. If your hands easily graze the earth, maybe turn your palms up. Hands back to the hips. Rise to stand. Finding your gaze, finding that spot, and sort of letting the eyes just unfocus a little bit. Feeling both feet on the earth. Feeling the weight shift into your right foot, coming off your left heel. Drawing the navel in, getting that little extra bit of support. And eventually just floating that left foot off the ground. The knees a little bit bent. Doesn't have to be really high, just a little kick up. And again, maybe those toes touch down for a moment or two before you come back into it. Eventually opening up through the arms. So just finding our way into a balance here with as little effort as possible. Just kind of being here, being with the wobbling, not worried about where that left leg is, just it's off the ground. That's all we need to know. And when you feel ready, let that left foot find the earth. Again, reach your fingertips down. Palms are wide. Heart is open. Tilt your head back. Close your eyes. Big breath in. Exhale, spill forward. Maybe turn the palms up. Go ahead and make your way back into a downward facing dog. With your next breath in, float your right leg straight up and back. Square that right hip down, spin the inner thigh up a little bit. Now without changing the hips, just bend the right knee. Press into your hands, push both sets of hips back. And then see if you can take, instead of bend, twisting, and opening, see if you can take that right knee out. So it's like you're kicking the right knee out, almost like fire hydrant pose. So we're not bend, twisting, and opening. We're just kicking that right knee out. Lift it high if you can, but try to keep the hips relatively square. Extend that right leg straight back. Straight back. Look to your thumbs and step that right foot through. Take your time. We're going to release the back knee to the mat. Maybe wiggle it back a little bit, create some extra space, some extra stretch for the left hip flexor, get nice and tall, floating to our fingertips. Or maybe even floating off the fingertips. Big hug into the inner thighs, heart opens. Full breath in. As you exhale, go ahead and settle down to the mat. So drop your hands to the mat. We're going to heel toe our right foot a little wider. And we're going to shift the right arm to the inside of our right leg, right foot. This time we're going to open up through the right foot, the right knee, peeling to the pinky toe edge. Stay upright and open in your heart and shoulders and chest for a moment. And then as you exhale, feel free to drop in. So maybe get down to the palms of your hands, maybe bend the elbows a little bit, maybe round and bow, maybe even drop onto forearms. If you're all the way down on forearms, go ahead and start to make your way back up. Find your hands. Really strong through the arms. Plant your right foot on the mat. Lift off your back knee. Sweep that right leg straight back. This time just shimmy, shake it out. Or if you want to bend, twist, and open, maybe take some knee circles. Just working out any stuckness in that right hip. And then back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, draw yourself forward into high plank. Let your weight shift forward, drop your knees. Elbows bent slightly back, chest and chin to the mat. Lengthen out through the legs. Press down into the tops of your feet. Hug those elbows into the back of your body. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Press back through your knees to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, left leg's gonna float high. Square those hips, so be really mindful to square the hips as we move into this next phase. So as you lift the leg, probably the left hip wants to peel open a little bit. So try to turn that left hip down. Press back through the hands, and without moving the hip, bend the knee. Now picturing your knee just opening up like a book. Kick that left knee open. Send it high. Try to keep peeling the right hip back. So So we're not stacking the hips, right? Hips stay relatively squared to the earth. Send that left leg straight back, and then step it through. Go ahead and drop your back knee, wiggle it back a little bit, float to fingertips or even off fingertips, open your heart, soften into this lunge. Just finding that moment or two to just allow an opening here without resisting. And then with an exhale, just soften down to the earth, heel toe your left foot a bit wider, shift your left hand inside. Heel to the pinky toe edge of that left foot, letting the left knee fall open. Feeling that out for a moment. And then when you feel ready, maybe drop in a little bit more. Maybe that means going all the way down to forearms, maybe not. Maybe that just means sort of rounding and bowing, bending the elbows a little bit. A few breaths in and a few breaths out, just stay right here. Next inhale, press back into the hands, lift the head, lift the heart. Plant that left foot, scissor in a little bit, lift that left knee, lift those hips, and then float that left leg straight back. Wiggle it out a little bit. Do what you need to do. And then release the foot, down dog. Inhale, high plank. Roll forward on the toes, drop knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Make your way back, downward facing dog. Pedal it out a couple times, and as always, if you need to take a little beat, a little break in child's pose, do that. From down dog, inhale, right leg floats. Big breath in, spread through the toes, exhale, step through. Back heel turns down, warrior two. So in our warrior two, we're going to reach through our extended fingers, dropping into that right knee, but float off your right heel for a moment, create a little more mobility in the hip. See if you can open up that right knee a little bit more. Drop into the knee a little bit more, and then plant that right heel again. Send your left thigh back in space a little bit if there's room for it. Full breath in, full breath out. One more inhale, and then exhale, release. Both hands to the mat, step back. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And then back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg floats high. Spread through those toes. Plant those hands. Exhale, step through. Back heel to the earth. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Come on up. Settle into those feet a little bit, but before we get too settled, let's find some more openness in that left hip. So we're going to peel off the left heel. Try to spin the left knee open a little bit more. Maybe drop into that knee bend. Any amount, right thigh can press back. And then drop that heel again. Pull the low belly up and in, soften the shoulders away from your ears. Find your breath. With your exhale, float both hands down. Step back. Choose to hang out in down dog for a few breaths, or choose to flow through with your breath. High plank to low plank, knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and drop your knees. Find your child's pose. Let's take 3 full breaths here. After that 3rd breath, begin to transition back to downward facing dog. With your inhale, float the right leg. As you exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. So a little wider this time. Back heel dials down, coming up for warrior 1. So arms float, heart lifts. Dropping into that right knee a little bit. Peel the whole right side back if you can. So just trying to find a little bit of balance again here. We're going to move from our warrior 1 right into our tree with a kickstand. So hands on hips, really feel your right foot ground to the earth. And it doesn't have to be pretty and it doesn't have to be perfect. But with your next breath, just step off that back foot. And I'm going to turn towards you so you can sort of see. We're going to step off that back foot so the left foot comes to our kickstand tree. Hands stay on hips. Settle in. And just when we get comfortable there, we're going to take it back into our warrior 1. So just a tiny bend to that right knee. And then as much grace as you can muster, step that left foot back. Inhale, arms float. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your hips. Looking down at that right foot, step the left foot forward, tree pose, kickstand. Hug the navel in, heart lifts. Little bend to that right knee, step the left foot back. Warrior 1. Inhale. Last time, exhale, hands to hips. Look down at your right foot, step forward. Again, doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be perfect. Most things in life aren't. Little bend, step back. Warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step back to down dog. If you want to flow, go for it. If you'd rather hang in down dog for a couple breaths, go for that. Leaning back in down dog, inhale, left leg floats high. Looking to your left thumb, step through. So a little wider, back heel turns down, warrior 1. Dropping into that left knee, just finding a little bit more open warrior here to start before we move. We'll drop hands to hips. And hopefully with one fluid motion, we'll just step that back foot forward into our kickstand. Get a little taller. Hands stay on hips, nice and grounded. Little bend to that left knee, step that right foot back. Arms float up, inhale. Exhale, hands to hips, look down, step forward. Settle in for at least one full breath. Feel as stable as you can for one full breath. And then we'll bend the knee, step back. Arms float. Exhale, hands to your hips. Look down, step through. Full breath in. Full breath out. Little bend to the knee, step back. Arms float. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back and flow or step back to down dog. Kneeling back in downward facing dog. With your inhale, right leg floats. Stepping between your thumbs. Turn your back heel down. I'm going to turn around here. Turn your back heel down. Shift both hands to the inside of your right foot and walk them away from you towards the left front corner of your mat. So we're coming to that warrior two leg with the down dog upper body. Plant those hands. You could even pop up to fingertips. Drop your head. Soften your heart. Try to press the inner thighs, inner groins back. Widen through the sit bones. Bend into that right knee a little bit. As you inhale, walk your hands back towards your right foot. Walk your right hand all the way to your right foot and then grab your ankle with your hand. Left arm's going to peel open for extended side angle variation. So with your right hand on the ankle, kind of press the shin into the forearm and vice versa. Try to tuck the right hip under if you can and open a little bit more. Keep dropping into that right knee if you can. As you exhale, release the left hand to the mat. Release both hands to the mat and walk your hands around to the long edge of your mat. Turn your right toes in so your feet are parallel. Little bend to the knees. Inhale. Exhale. Take your wide-legged forward fold. Let your head go. Let your shoulders go. With an inhale, halfway lift. And then nice and slow, start to heel toe your feet underneath you. Once your feet are close together, walk your hands up to your shins, take a breath in, exhale, fold in. So with your next inhale, rise to stand, sweep the arms out and up, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So if you can, find a spot on the wall, wherever you are. It doesn't have to be a big spot, just enough that you can put your back on it. So we're going to come into tree, just the right leg. But we're going to use this version of tree with a wall. So we get really secure and we're going to keep our hands on our hips. Okay, because we're going to do a tree version later that's a little less secure. So I just want this one to feel really nice and safe and secure as much as we can in a balancing pose. So if you find your spot on the wall, just make sure some part of you, the back of you, your back side, is touching the wall. So you have that security behind you. Left foot's going to plant on the floor. We'll start with the right foot kickstanded, hands on hips. So the right toes just turn out and the right heel finds the inner left leg. So you're just sort of leaning against the wall, just taking it all in, maybe closing your eyes here because you have that nice secure spot on the wall. So this is tree pose, just a lot more safe and secure. And so maybe keeping your body on the wall, we'll slide that right foot up to the inner calf. Maybe a little less secure with our right toes not on the ground. Keeping hands on hips. Hands almost act like anchors or weights on those hips, helping you press the weight down through the left foot, lifting up through the crown. And go ahead and release that right foot to the earth. Release your hands from your sides. Come back to your mat into your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg's going to float. Exhale, step through. Between the thumbs, back heel dials down. We're going to shift both hands to the inside of our left foot, walking our hands away from us like a down dog upper body. Maybe pop up to just fingertips, but melt the heart. Float the head of the arm bones. And then ground down into your feet. Spin your inner thighs back. Keep dropping into that left knee if you can. Inhale, go ahead, lift your head, walk your hands back. Start moving the hands towards the left foot. Grab that left ankle with your left hand, right arm floats open. So So use a little resistance here. Press the shin into the forearm and vice versa. Keep bending into that left knee, maybe sending this right thigh back a little bit. As you exhale, release both hands to the mat. Walk them around to the long edge of your mat. Turn your left toes in. Little bend to the knees and exhale, fold. Let yourself go for a few breaths. Inhale, halfway lift. Start to heel toe the feet underneath you. Once your feet are there, walk your hands up your shins, halfway lift, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, sweeping the arms. Exhale, hands to heart. Find that wall spot again. Back up into it. Hands on hips, both feet on the earth. Feel the security of the wall behind you. We'll kickstand that left foot. Use your hands to press down on your hips so that your feet get really anchored to the earth. Heart lifts, crown lifts. Some part of you is touching the wall. Still hug the navel in for extra security. Find that inner drishti. Maybe slide that left foot up to the inner calf. So eyes could be open or closed. Release your left foot. Step away from the wall. We're coming back into downward facing dog. So we're going to come into pigeon pose for 3 full breaths on each side. Just to do one last kind of hip opener here before we come into tree again. So I like to come into pigeon by floating one leg, my right leg. Some people like to come into it from hands and knees and just sort of dragging that right knee forward. You choose, but either way we're coming into pigeon on the right side. So right knee to the right thumb. So you might want to reach for that blanket, throw it under your right hip if you need that extra support. Try to keep those hips square, navel, chest pointing forward. Back toes can stay curled or uncurled. When your hips are ready, settle down into it for 3 full breaths. After that 3rd breath, begin to make your way back up. Take your time, making your way back to either hands and knees or down dog. Maybe pedaling it out or lifting that right leg in some capacity. And then we'll shift to our pigeon on the left side. So left knee to left thumb. Maybe create more space for that left hip by pulling your left foot forward a little bit. But again, we want to keep those hips squared to the front short edge of your mat. And if there's space, use your props. Use your blanket roll. When you're ready, settle in. Again, 3 full breaths. After that 3rd breath, begin to make your way back out. Take your time, sliding that left knee back, or maybe floating that left leg back, down dog. Maybe lifting that left leg again in some capacity, either from hands and knees or from down dog. And then we'll all meet in downward facing dog. And like we did earlier, just start to walk your feet forward and your hands backwards. We're going to meet in the middle of the mat to start with. So with both feet grounded on the earth, rise to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands at heart. So find a drishti, find a spot. Soften your eyes, soften your face. Hands stay at heart to start with. Start to shift the weight to the left foot. Roll off your right heel. Float your right leg. So finding that balance again. And then bringing your right foot to the inner right calf for our tree. Maybe taking that right knee back in space a little bit, hugging the navel in. So take at least one full breath in here, one full breath out. And then choose if you want to adjust. Maybe slide that right foot down for a little more support. Maybe slide that right foot up to the inner left thigh for a different version. If you slide the foot up, see if you can grip the thigh with your toes. Press the foot into the thigh and the thigh back into the foot. Hug the navel in. And then wherever you are with your legs, extend your arms. Fan out the fingers, reach through the fingertips. Try to guide your shoulder blades down your back, but keep lifting the heart. Eyes are soft, almost unfocused. Drishti inside is stable, steady. Let the breath still you. Release your hands to your heart. Release your right foot to the mat. Take a breath in, both feet on the earth, and a breath out. Close your eyes for a moment, just bow the head. Open your eyes, soft gaze, soft eyes. Feel your weight shift to your right foot. Float your left leg. Take your time. Stay here for a beat. Soften your eyes. And then bring that left foot to your right calf. Push the left knee back a little in space. Hug the navel in. There's a tiny micro bend to the right knee. One full breath in. One full breath out. Right here, kind of in the middle. That middle ground. And then you choose. Either slide that left foot down for a little more support, or slide that left foot up. Again, create a little resistance between the left foot and the right leg. Hug the navel in. Wherever you are with your legs, float your arms. If you wobble out of it, come back in. Forgive yourself and come back in. Smile and come back in. Again, let the breath be really steady here. Even though the breath is moving in and out, it creates a stillness in the body. Hands to heart. Release the left foot. Big breath in. Close your eyes, bow your head. Open your eyes. All right, so last variation here. So I've done this before, but I think it's pretty fun. You don't have to do this, but I would say let's be adventurous and try it if you haven't tried it before. You can be close to a wall if you want. But we're basically going to create with our blanket just an unstable earth. And we're going to try and find some stability in our Vrikshasana, our tree pose. So just take that blanket, don't fold it, just throw it on the ground in a lump. And again, if you want a wall close, grab your wall. And we'll start with that right foot this time. So right foot goes on that lump of blanket. Hands to hips. Bring that left foot into whatever version of tree you want. You might want to start with the kickstand, or you can even float the left foot like we were doing, kind of front of you. You can come to full tree, left foot on calf. So just trying to find a little stability here. So like there's probably a lot of wobbling around the ankle. And so that part might not be real stable and still, but where else can you find maybe some stability, some stillness, maybe with the breath? Maybe by softening, almost unfocusing the eyes. Maybe hands on hips feels a lot better for you, more still, more stable. Maybe you float the arms. Maybe you just stay for a breath and then you come out or fall out. Whenever you feel ready, go ahead and come on out. Do that same thing on the second side, so just your blanket lump. Maybe make it lumpier if that wasn't challenging enough. If it wasn't challenging enough, you can also close your eyes. That'll make it really challenging. Plant that left foot on the blanket. Hands on hips to start. And maybe just float that foot or kickstand that foot to start. See if you can just find a little stability. Get used to the wobbling. Trust that your foot's going to stay right where it is. It's not going anywhere. And then take it into your version of tree. Maybe extend the arms. Again, if you feel really secure here and you're just looking for a challenge, maybe close your eyes. Maybe just looking for a laugh. Maybe you can just be sort of okay with the instability of it, the uncertainty of it. Whenever you're ready, come on down. And then let it go. So set your blanket aside. Come back to your mat in some capacity and just forward fold. Just let it go. Maybe shake the head out a couple times. Maybe take a few exhales with an open mouth. Just sighing it out. And then start to come to a seat. So you may sit on your heels like I am, or you can sit in an easy cross-leg position. But just get yourself on the ground. Let your fingers and hands touch the ground and close your eyes. Just feel yourself again on the earth. And then let your hands rest in your lap. Turn your palms up. Close your eyes. Take a full breath in. A full breath out. Let yourself just let go a little bit here. Feeling grateful to be on the earth, on the ground. Giving your feet a rest. Giving your legs a rest. With that same mentality, we're going to come onto our backs. So maybe taking a moment here so you don't have to hop up later and maybe dim your lights or grab some socks or something that you might want. Once you're on your back, plant your feet with your knees bent, but walk your feet wide. Let your arms tee out wide. And then just windshield wiper a few times. Knees to the right, knees to the left. So the next time your knees are on your left, go ahead and stay. Just hang out for a beat. And then choose if you want to take this twist a little deeper. Bring that right leg, instead of staggering your knees, bring that right leg to stack on top of your left knee. Maybe even use your left hand to anchor a little bit. Let the right shoulder get really heavy, and then turn your head to the right. release that right knee so it's no longer stacked. Inhale both knees up to center. Exhale both knees to your right and stay. Stay for a beat. And then choose if you want to go deeper. You can stay, that's totally fine, or you can go deeper by bringing your left knee on top of the right knee, maybe bringing your right hand on top of the left thigh. Again, get really heavy through that left shoulder. Turn your head to the left. And as you inhale, come back to center. Heel toe both feet back into your hips. In line with your hips, I should say. Take the heels of your hands and just gently press your thighs away from you. And then hug both knees in. If you want to do a little rocking and rolling before we extend into Shavasana, take a few breaths and maybe do a low back massage or a happy baby massage. Just take a few breaths. Allow yourself to start to settle. And when you feel ready, extend both legs long, preparing for Shavasana. Our final resting pose. Legs are long and extended, wide. Toes just sort of turn out naturally. Arms resting at your sides, nice and open. Palms turned up, fingers naturally curl in. Close your eyes, soften your face. Be aware of the next few breaths. Just watching the breath. Allowing yourself a few minutes here at the end of your practice to just release, to relax. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring some small movement back into the body, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles. When you feel ready, bend at the knees. Make your way onto one side. Rest for a few more breaths. Pressing your hands gently into the earth, find your way to an easy seat, Sukhasana. Bowing head, closing eyes, and bringing hands to Anjali Mudra right at heart center. Bowing head to heart. Noticing that light that resides naturally within you. Sending that light out to all those in your life who love and support you. Thank you for sharing your light with me tonight, even from afar. So grateful to be practicing and teaching in whatever capacity I can. Thank you for joining. Stay safe, stay healthy. I hope to see you guys at the studio soon. Have a great night, great weekend. Namaste.